So, greetings everyone. My name is Trushar. I'm from University of Lethbridge. The university's indigenous name is Iniskam, meaning Sacred Buffalo Stone, and the university is based at the Blackfoot Confederacy Territory. Um, I'm really excited to have Dr. Alejandro Adem today with us. My favorite funding agencies answered. So thank you, Dr. Adem, President, for joining us today for a brief conversation.
Sure.
And we are really excited to know a few things from you. So my first question that is related to career trajectory, because you had a remarkable career, having moved from mathematics to different fields, having moved from Mexico, having training in US and Canada, former CEO and scientific director of MyTax, and now you are the president of Answer. So for those aspiring students and people like me who are looking to find out what the career trajectories look like, could you share us a few experiences and the challenges that you may have had?
For sure. Thank you very much. Well, the first thing I want to say is that you really want to follow your passion, what you're excited about. And I'm very fortunate that my top passion is actually mathematics. And I've always found great enjoyment and satisfaction in learning about mathematics and in actually doing mathematics, creating new mathematics. So I got started as a student, as an undergraduate in Mexico at the National University of Mexico. Afterwards, I went to Princeton to get my PhD, and then I did a career in the US as a faculty member and then in Canada. So now one of the things one learns as an academic, as a faculty member, is that one wants to have impact on your students, on your colleagues, on society. So that's a growth from just the tunnel vision of your particular area to what you can do, right? So I've had like an evolution in that direction. I first started as chair of the mathematics department at University of Wisconsin. That's when I first started in administration. And I must say, I took that job because when I raised certain issues with the administration, I was told, well, why don't you become chair and take care of it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, a few years later, that was the case. So it was
Nice.
quite an interesting experience for me. And afterwards, I got quite involved in running mathematics institutes. I had the fortune of directing the Pacific Institute for Mathematical Sciences, based in Western Canada, Lethbridge, of course,
Yeah.
as a member. And I learned a lot about cooperation and networking across the Canadian scene. And that was really an education for me, and meeting colleagues across Western Canada and Washington State and working with them. So I learned again a bigger picture of what one should be interested in. And then the MyTax position, which I was fortunate to be appointed to, I learned about the interaction between academia and industry and how many times folks in academia don't understand how their work can be mobilized to have an impact on society. So that was, again, another step for me, always learning. And you don't always get it right. You have to learn from your experiences and try to build things together, but always with enthusiasm. That's really been something which I really like to bring to these positions: enthusiasm and really believing in the mission.
Yeah.
And now at NSERC, it gets a little bit bigger. And again, we are really a community-based granting agency, and really wanting to support researchers like yourself and other colleagues around the country who are working on science and engineering and mobilizing that for the benefit of Canada. So that's where I come from. And I think the move for people's career, the arc of their careers can vary a lot.
Yeah.
Research, teaching, service are the three big ingredients that academics face. And you should think about combining them in different degrees as you go through the arc of your career.
Thank you. And one of the best part that I like about answer, as you pointed out earlier in your answer, is focusing on training, and that is my favorite part about answer. That it gives a lot of emphasis on training for next generation of scientists. And along that line, my next question is that answer released 2030 strategic plan, and it has one of the pillars. The key pillar is to support Canadian excellence and the strengths of Canadian researcher. So could you expand a little bit on this pillar and let us know what the vision is?
Absolutely. So we developed NSERC 2030 through consultation with the community. We had thousands of submissions and dozens of panels, workshops, and we collected input from all the community, as well as with folks around the ecosystem, different heads of organizations, universities, etc. And one thing which came out loud and clear was the importance of discovery research. So that is expressed through Pillar 1. So an unwavering commitment to discovery research, the Discovery Grants Program, which we consider the flagship program for Canadian science in Canada.
It really is.
And I really want to send that message out to the community that we highly value Blue Skies discovery research, because that's really, those are the ideas that afterwards get mobilized to do the great things that society expects of us.
Yeah.
Now, it's important for us as an agency and also working with the other councils to develop modern forms of evaluating grants and of being equitable and inclusive, and really fostering the EDI perspective on everything we do. I myself, as a Latino scientist coming from Mexico, I understand some of the hardships that the folks face when they come into a new environment, when they don't have the expected privileges and connections. So it's important for us that we level the playing field. And we have worked very hard, and I want to give credit to the team and the Tri-Council focus on EDI, also on new forms of evaluating excellence in research, particularly the DORA, the San Francisco Declaration that the councils have signed. And how do you evaluate excellence beyond bibliometrics and H-index, things of that kind? Of course, a great paper and a great journal is a very important accomplishment. I will never deny that. But it's one data point, among others, that must take it into account. And I think we also have to work very hard to make sure that our funding is really giving opportunities to everyone across Canada, to folks in the big universities, in the small universities, across all regions, and the different groups, many of whom are underrepresented. As you know, STEM has the challenge of increasing the representation of women and minority groups, and in particular Indigenous, Métis, and Inuit communities.
So somebody who also came outside Canada from, I really appreciate the NSERC's values on supporting everybody on the playing field, as you mentioned, and supporting people like me also with NSERC Discovery Grant. We really value that. As I mentioned before, NSERC is also very, as you know, focused on training of next generation researcher. On this line, could you please share NSERC vision for expanding and nurturing Canada's talent pool?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we support trainees, tens of thousands of trainees, either through direct scholarships and fellowships, or indirectly through discovery grants or alliance grants. So we participate in the development of the talent strategy through the Canada Research Coordinating Committee. And the idea there is, through consultation with trainees and the whole community, that we develop a unified vision of what a modern early career researcher trainee, what are the requirements to support them and empower them to be successful. We know that in other jurisdictions, in Europe, in the US, a variety of different modalities for that. I feel that our training tools need to be reviewed, modernized, and upgraded. And I definitely want to acknowledge the issue of the stipends, which has been too low for too long. And we're working hard with our government partners to try to find a solution to that issue. Because, you know, EDI means also being paid a living wage. So that's very important for us. Now, I do want to advertise programs like CREATE, that NSERC has developed, really developing the full potential, interdisciplinarity, connections to industry, international connections. I think it's a very rich, very fertile program, and I think it's having an impact on the ecosystem. So we can more thinking outside the box. So that kind of program, I think, will be important as we go forward.
Thank you. And so by some of my colleagues are funded through NSERC CREATE, and so we really appreciate that stream of the funding as well, because it creates a lot of training opportunities for a lot of national and international students.
Yes.
Thank you. So NSERC supports a lot of discovery projects, as you mentioned, a lot of novel discoveries. How does NSERC envision translating discovery to impact on that line?
Yes, well, that I guess is a pillar maybe 3 in the strategic
Yes.
plan, right?
Yeah.
So the mobilization of knowledge for impact on industry, on society at large, that we aim to accomplish that through the Alliance program. Alliance is a recently consolidated program of offerings, we offer grants with a continuous intake. It's a very kind of modern model based on the timelines that you would see, for example, in industry. Because folks want to have an answer, they don't have to wait a whole year to get an answer on an application, because if you want an application in industry or in a not-for-profit organization, it has to be a lot faster. So Alliance is meant as a partnership program, hence the name. And we can partner with companies, with municipalities, third-party organizations, even with government departments and international partners. So that allows us to mobilize then the research in the discovery over to the rest of society. And I think it's been quite a successful program. And in particular, our friends in engineering are so good at applying science and training and making these partnerships, right? I always kudos to our engineering community that is so versatile and so energetic about pursuing and leading the way on many of these initiatives. We recently introduced the international stream of Alliance that allows for bottoms-up international engagement through the Alliance Catalyst grants, and even slightly bigger ones through the Alliance Collaborate grants. So this is a way of getting our communities involved in international collaborations, which may afterwards escalate to the bigger collaborations, which would be funded, for example, through the New Frontiers and Research Fund, or through big government initiatives that come up when Canada wants to work with other countries.
Wow, that is great. So personally, me as a CSPC program committee member and CSPC, we value your support, NSERC support. And I just wanted to ask what do you see the biggest benefit of partnering with CSPC as a funding organization?
Well, I'm a scientist. I'm not a science policy wonk. So I like the fact that it's like a one-stop place where I can absorb all the science policy I need from all the different directions in Canada and also international. So for me, that's extremely powerful, extremely valuable, because the table is like set, and our staff, they come to these, they get involved in the panels. And I think it's a great value for Canada and for the world. So I really want to congratulate you and others who are working for the CSPC, because it really makes a difference for us, and it's a big help in bringing together the scientists with the policy people. And it's done in a way that you do it at the level of comfort that you like, right? And it's not dominated by government, but not also dominated by just academics, right? So I like the mix that we have here. So for me, it's extremely valuable and quite unique.
Thank you. Really appreciate your time, Dr. Adem. And on behalf of CSPC, I really want to thank you for sharing some of the thoughts with us from NSERC leadership.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.